The sensation is a familiar whisper, a faint echo in the vast chambers of the soul. You meet a stranger, and in their eyes you see not a new acquaintance, but a reflection of a story you can't quite recall. You visit a city for the first time, yet every street corner feels like a memory, a homecoming to a place you've never been. This feeling, this profound and unsettling sense of a past that exists just beyond the veil of conscious thought, is not a flight of fancy. It is the signature of a journey far longer and more complex than the single lifetime we perceive. We are all ancient travelers, carrying the dust of forgotten roads on our spiritual feet. The evidence of these journeys isn't found in history books, but in the inexplicable pull we feel towards certain people, the irrational fears that grip us without cause, and the innate talents that blossom with no apparent origin. Yet the central maddening question remains: if we have lived before, if our souls are etched with the chronicles of countless experiences, why is the library of our own history locked away from us? Why must we navigate this life with a profound amnesia? The answer is not one of punishment or cosmic error. According to the deep and often startling insights of one of America's most documented mystics, Edgar Cayce, this forgetting is a fundamental, benevolent, and absolutely necessary component of our spiritual evolution. It is not a lock, but a shield. Before we draw back that curtain and explore the profound reasons for this sacred amnesia through the lens of Cayce's wisdom, take a moment to support this exploration of the soul's journey. If you find yourself seeking deeper understanding, and this kind of content resonates with you, please grant this video a like and subscribe to the channel. Your support allows us to continue delving into these great mysteries together. The quest to remember past lives often begins with a simple human desire, the desire to know who we were. Were we great, or were we simple? Were we heroes, or were we villains? This curiosity, while natural, often misses the very point of our present existence. Edgar Cayce's readings, a collection of over 14,000 transcribed telepathic clairvoyant sessions, consistently returned to a central theme. We are here, in this specific time and place, for a purpose. Each life is a meticulously crafted classroom, a curriculum designed for the soul's specific needs. To understand why we don't remember, we must first abandon the idea that we are being deprived of something. Instead, we must consider that we are being given a profound gift, the gift of a fresh start. The reasons for this are not singular, but form a multi-layered tapestry of divine logic and compassion, designed to protect, guide, and ultimately liberate us. Number 1. The veil of forgetting as an act of mercy. Imagine for a moment the sheer weight of memory. Not just the memories of this lifetime, which can often be burdensome enough, the heartbreaks, the losses, the mistakes we wish we could undo. Now, multiply that by 10, by 100, by 1,000 lifetimes. Picture the unfiltered recollection of every painful death, every betrayal suffered, every loved one lost to war, famine, or disease throughout the ages. Consider the guilt of every harsh word spoken, every selfish act committed, every person we have harmed knowingly or unknowingly across centuries of existence. The human psyche, the delicate emotional and mental framework we inhabit in this physical form, is simply not designed to withstand such a deluge. Edgar Cayce's perspective was clear. The so-called veil of forgetting is, first and foremost, an act of supreme mercy. It is a divine mechanism of compassion that shields us from an emotional and psychological burden that would be utterly crushing. If you were to remember with vivid clarity the life where you were a soldier who perished on a battlefield, the terror and agony of that final moment could bleed into your present reality, creating crippling phobias and anxieties that have no logical root in your current circumstances. If you recalled a lifetime of starvation, it could manifest today as an eating disorder or a deep-seated irrational fear of poverty, preventing you from ever feeling secure, no matter your wealth. The trauma is not just a story, it's an energetic imprint. The memory carries the full force of the original emotion. To carry all of this trauma simultaneously would not make us wiser, it would make us dysfunctional. It would shatter our ability to function in the here and now. We would be ghosts in our own lives, haunted by the specters of 1,000 former selves. This protective amnesia allows the soul to set down its heaviest baggage at the start of each new journey, carrying forward only the lessons, the distilled wisdom, not the raw, unprocessed pain. It ensures that we are not defined by our past traumas, but by our potential to overcome the challenges of the present. The soul remembers the lesson of resilience learned from hardship, but the conscious mind is spared the excruciating memory of the hardship itself. It is the ultimate act of a loving universe, allowing us to begin each new day and each new life with a clean slate, free from the chains of ancient sorrows. Number 2. The undivided focus on present lessons. Every incarnation, from the perspective offered in the Cayce readings, is a highly specific spiritual assignment. We come into this life with a predefined curriculum, a set of virtues to develop, karmic patterns to resolve, and soul lessons to master. These lessons might be patience, forgiveness, unconditional love, courage, or humility. Our life circumstances, our families, our relationships, and our challenges are all perfectly orchestrated to provide us with the opportunities to learn these exact lessons. Now, introduce the full memory of past lives into this equation. The entire system would be thrown into chaos. Suppose in a past life you were a powerful and revered pharaoh in ancient Egypt. If you carried that memory into this life, where your assignment might be to learn humility and service as a quiet, unassuming caregiver, how could you possibly focus? The ego, inflated by memories of grandeur, wealth, and absolute power, would constantly rebel against the perceived mundanity of your current role. You might feel a constant sense of entitlement, a frustration that your true status is not being recognized. The lesson of humility would become nearly impossible to learn because the memory of past greatness would be a constant, distracting noise. Conversely, imagine you remembered a life of abject poverty and persecution, where you were powerless and victimized. In this life, where your lesson is to develop self-worth and learn to stand in your own power, the memory of that past life could engender a deep-seated victim mentality. You might constantly expect betrayal and hardship, sabotaging opportunities for success and empowerment, because the energetic imprint of your past life tells you that you are destined to fail. Forgetting is essential because it forces us to be fully present. It compels us to engage with the people and situations right in front of us, without the prejudice of past interactions. We must learn to love the person our spouse is today, not struggle with the memory of them being our sworn enemy 3 centuries ago. We must face our current financial challenges on their own terms, not with the arrogance of a past life of wealth or the despair of a past life of poverty. The absence of memory is what makes the learning authentic. It ensures that our choices are made based on the reality of the now, allowing us to meet our spiritual curriculum with an open mind and a focused heart. It is the universe's way of saying, pay attention to this. This is what matters for your soul's growth right now. Number 3, the preservation of free will and authentic karmic resolution. The concept of karma is often misunderstood as a simple system of cosmic reward and punishment. In the Cayce framework, it is far more nuanced. Karma is about learning, balance, and the evolution of the soul. It is the law of cause and effect applied to consciousness. We meet ourselves again and again through our actions until we learn to act from a place of divine love. The forgetting of past lives is absolutely crucial for the authentic resolution of these karmic patterns and the preservation of our free will. Let's consider a scenario. Imagine you discover that in a previous life, you gravely wronged a particular individual. In this lifetime, that same soul has incarnated as your business partner, and you are presented with a situation where you could easily betray them for personal gain. If you remembered the past transgression, your decision not to betray them would be contaminated. Would you be acting from a place of genuine integrity and newfound ethical understanding? Or would you simply be acting out of fear of further karmic retribution? Would your kindness be authentic, or would it be a calculated payment on an old debt? You would be driven by the memory of the past mistake, not by the development of a higher consciousness in the present. You would not be exercising true free will. You would be reacting to a known data point. The forgetting forces authenticity upon us. When you are kind to that business partner, without any knowledge of your past debt, it is because you have chosen in this moment to be a kind and honorable person. You have truly learned the lesson. The resolution of the karma is genuine because the choice was made freely, uncoerced by the memory of past guilt or fear. This applies to positive karma as well. If you knew someone had been your devoted benefactor in a past life, your loyalty to them in this life might stem from a sense of obligation rather than spontaneous, heartfelt affection. The universe doesn't want spiritual robots paying off debts. It wants conscious souls learning to choose love, compassion, and integrity for their own sake. This sacred amnesia ensures that our virtues are forged in the fire of present-moment choices, not dictated by a ledger from lives gone by. It makes every act of kindness, every gesture of forgiveness, a true and powerful expression of our evolving soul. Number 4. Distinguishing the eternal soul from the temporary personality. One of the most subtle but profound reasons for our lack of memory, as illuminated by Edgar Cayce's work, is the need to differentiate our eternal soul entity from the temporary personality or ego of any single incarnation. You are not your name, your job, your successes, or your failures in this lifetime. These are simply the costume you are wearing and the role you are playing in the current act of a much grander play. The real you is the soul, the divine spark of consciousness that is the actor itself. Remembering all your past roles at once would create a profound identity crisis. Who would you be if you simultaneously held the consciousness of a Roman legionary, a medieval peasant, a Chinese scholar, and a Victorian industrialist? Each of these personalities came with its own set of beliefs, biases, desires, and limitations. To identify with all of them at once would be to have no coherent identity at all. The ego of this lifetime, which is the vehicle through which we interact with the world and learn our lessons, would be fractured. You might develop an attachment to a more glamorous past life, devaluing your current existence. You might feel paralyzed by the conflicting values and worldviews of your various past selves. The goal of the soul's journey is integration and wholeness, not fragmentation. This temporary amnesia allows the soul to fully immerse itself in the experience of being John Smith or Jane Doe in the 21st century. It allows us to build a coherent personality for this lifetime, to grapple with the specific challenges and opportunities presented, and to grow through that focused experience. The soul, in its infinite wisdom, downloads only the necessary software for this particular incarnation, the predispositions, talents, and karmic echoes that are relevant to the current life's mission. The rest of the data, the archives of all previous personalities, is stored safely away in the soul's higher consciousness. We are here to learn through the lens of one specific, unique personality. Over-identification with a parade of past egos would prevent us from understanding the most crucial truth, that we are not any single one of them, but the eternal, evolving consciousness that underlies them all. Forgetting the old roles allows us to fully and authentically play the one we have now. Number 5. Memory is not erased, it is sublimated. Perhaps the most comforting aspect of Edgar Cayce's teachings on this matter is the idea that the memories of our past lives are not truly lost or erased. They are simply moved from the forefront of our conscious mind to the vast, powerful repository of our subconscious and superconscious minds. They are not gone, they are sublimated, transformed from explicit data into implicit influence. These memories continue to shape us in profound and observable ways, manifesting not as narrative recollections, but as the very fabric of our being. Think of an unexplained phobia. A person with a debilitating fear of water who has never had a negative experience with it in this life may be carrying the cellular memory of a drowning in a past incarnation. The conscious mind has no story, but the subconscious, the body's own intelligence, remembers the trauma and creates a powerful warning signal. Consider a child prodigy who can play the piano with virtuosic skill at the age of 5 with little to no training. This is not a random miracle. It is the reawakening of a deeply grooved neural and spiritual pathway, a skill mastered over many lifetimes of practice. The conscious personality of the child didn't learn it, but the soul entity remembers it, and the talent flows through with ease. This sublimated memory is also the source of what we call intuition, or a gut feeling. When you meet someone and feel an instant, inexplicable sense of trust and warmth, you may be subconsciously recognizing a beloved friend or family member from another life. Conversely, that immediate and irrational aversion you feel towards someone else could be your soul's alarm system, warning you of a karmic adversary or a pattern of past betrayal. Déjà vu, the eerie feeling of having experienced a new moment before, is often a momentary flicker, a brief crack in the veil where the subconscious memory of a similar or planned event bleeds through. Our attractions, our aversions, our innate gifts, and our deepest fears are the language of our forgotten past. The memories are not telling us stories, they are providing us with a compass. They are the invisible currents that guide us toward the people, places, and experiences necessary for our soul's curriculum. We don't remember the past, but we are constantly being informed by it. Number 6. Readiness, purpose, and the unfolding of the soul. While the veil of forgetting is a near universal and necessary condition for humanity, Cayce's readings suggest that it is not absolute or permanent. The ability to access past life information is not a forbidden knowledge to be stolen, but a state of awareness to be earned through spiritual maturity. The key determining factors are readiness and purpose. Access to these memories is granted only when the soul is emotionally and spiritually mature enough to handle the information without being destabilized by it, and most importantly, only when that information serves a direct and constructive purpose for the current life's journey. For many, this access comes through dreams, where the conscious mind's defenses are lowered. A recurring dream of a specific historical period or a symbolic representation of a past trauma might be the soul's way of gently bringing a relevant piece of information to the surface for healing. Meditation and deep contemplative states can also quiet the ego mind enough to allow intuitive flashes or insights from the soul's deeper memory to emerge. In some cases, a person struggling with a persistent psychological block or a chronic illness might, through therapy or a spiritual reading, uncover a past life root for the issue. For instance, chronic neck pain might be traced back to a life where one was hanged or beheaded. Bringing this information to light is not for dramatic effect, it is for healing. By understanding the origin of the energetic imprint, the individual can consciously work to release it, freeing themselves from a limitation that has followed them across lifetimes. The desire to know one's past lives, simply to satisfy egoic curiosity, to find out if one was famous or powerful, is generally not a sufficient reason for the veil to be lifted. The universe is not interested in feeding our vanity. However, when an individual has worked diligently on their spiritual growth, has cultivated compassion and detachment, and is genuinely seeking self-understanding for the purpose of healing and service, the information may begin to flow. It comes not as a flood, but as a trickle of insight, providing context for a difficult relationship, clarity on one's life purpose, or the understanding needed to finally break a self-destructive pattern. Remembering is not the goal of the spiritual path. The goal is to become so present, so loving, and so wise in this life that the lessons of all past lives are naturally integrated and expressed through our being. When that state is approached, the memories are no longer a source of distraction or trauma, but simply become part of the soul's unified field of wisdom, accessible as needed to illuminate the path forward. The forgetting is a mercy for the student, but the remembrance is a tool for the master.